In our previous video, we talked about a patient who walked in complaining of constant fatigue, and this fatigue, even though he has had his full-time rest and all that, he constantly have this sense of exhaustion. He didn't know what to do. He was so tired all the time, and after doing the lab test, it surprised us that everything came out normal until we requested for an abdominal pelvic ultrasound scan, which came out to see that the liver had fat accumulated all over it. The liver had fat which had accumulated all over the liver. And so we mentioned, or we diagnosed the patient of fatty liver. Now, he said, but doctor, I don't drink because I know it's those who drink and etc. who actually have this fatty liver. No, that is not it. We have non-alcoholic fatty liver. We have alcoholic fatty liver as well. In today's video, I'm going to show you 7 powerful foods that will help you cleanse the liver and reduce the amount of fatty liver if you have them already. If you don't have them, taking these foods is going to help you actually reduce your risk of getting the fatty liver. Now, the third point will marvel you. I don't like it. I've never taken it. The first time I took it, let me not even say never. The first time I took it, it actually made me walk like, I was all over the place. People were laughing at me at work. Let's go on. The first one is avocado pear. You know it already. Now, this is the kind that actually reduces the risk of inflammation in the liver. You are having avocado, which contains high nutrients. It also which are readily made, and it also contains some amount of cholesterol, and this cholesterol is good or high density lipoprotein type, and so it prevents the accumulation of the low lipid density profile or low lipid density lipoprotein in the liver, thereby reducing the risk of accumulating the bad cholesterol in the liver, permitting the good cholesterol to increase. There is no inflammation. Taking it will prevent inflammation very, very well. Leafy green vegetables, especially kale and spinach. And I know a lot of people takes in these types of vegetables. What it does is also prevent fat accumulation. The more you take in kale and spinach, it prevents accumulation of fat or cholesterol in the body. The same triglycerides which we get in majority of the oils we use, these two are able to reduce the accumulation or the storage of these fats. That leads me to the third point. I'm not asking you to constantly take in just spinach and kale. There is one thing I want you to understand. Have you taken coffee before? And that brings me to the third point. Coffee is an antioxidant. It is one of the things that actually protect the liver. All the other things tend to reduce fat accumulation, reduce inflammation, but coffee in itself tend to protect the liver. It's like a guard that wants to protect the liver at all costs, whatever happens. Now, the reason why I told you about my experience with coffee is that anytime I take coffee, I tend to feel dizzy, I'm falling asleep, I feel like I'm getting wasted, a bit tipsy, right? And that is not what it's supposed to be. Now, if you are feeling the same way as I feel, the best one for you is to take decaffeinated coffee. It's because caffeine in it is what is leading to the way I feel. And so if I decide to take decaffeinated coffee, it's going to protect, or it's going to be that protective shield for my liver. I will urge you to also start taking either coffee or decaffeinated coffee, which is the best. The decaffeinated coffee is the best. Let's get some protein taken in before we lose the appetite on any of the food, which brings me to fatty fish. Now, these fishes contain omega oil. The omega oil actually provides the liver with metabolism effect. And that is very good, because whilst you are trying to prevent the amount of fat that comes into the liver, you have something that is also boosting the metabolism of the liver. Now, take this very, very serious. Earlier on in my life, whilst trying to be a kitchen guy, like trying to cook and all that, currently I like cooking a lot. So earlier on, whenever I take things like garlic, I have to do this, and then because I didn't like the smell or whatever that comes from it. So I didn't like it. But when I realized that this is actually something that activates the enzymes in the liver, that is where everything changed for me. Increasing your intake in garlic is going to activate majority of the enzymes in the liver. Now, this will help the liver produce its required enzymes such as the AST, ALT, GGT. I mean, all those enzymes are going to get detoxified so easily. So garlic is one of the things that helps in detoxifying the liver. You should grab one for yourself. I love it. Now you can actually tell from any food I eat, I try to break some garlic into it. I try to blend it with some of the vegetables I use for my foods. The next thing, and I know you know this, have you seen a lot of Chinese people? They tend to have, wherever they go, they tend to have their flask with them that contains water, but their water is never clear water. It's either hot water or something in the water. And that brings me to green tea. The green teas contain polyphenols, and these polyphenols actually help to reduce the liver fat. If you are someone who likes green tea, very, very difficult to accumulate fat in your system. The green tea is able to break down any stored fat in the liver, preventing the liver or nourishing the liver to have its full cells to function as they have to function. Get some green tea and thank me later in this video. And this brings me to the last point, and I want you to subscribe to this channel for more of these videos. Now, the last point is olive oil. Olive oil is one of the oils that actually increases the sensitivity of insulin. I mentioned insulin in the previous videos. Olive oil increases the sensitivity, which means that if you have type 2 diabetes and you are frequently or constantly on olive oil, it tends to act as some of the medications that you are taking. It doesn't mean you stop your medication. No, it acts in that phase. So you take your medications, you eat, and then the olive oil present in your food tend to increase the insulin sensitivity. Anytime you take in something, the olive oil that has activated the insulin tend to cause insulin to look for the glucose in your body and take them out. Don't forget that fatty liver is as a result of triglycerides and carbohydrates that have come together. We are breaking out the carbohydrates and then increasing the fat and the olive oil to help with the liver's metabolism. So if you combine all these foods I've mentioned to you and you blend them and you try to eat them on regular basis, you can see that there is remarkable improvement in your liver function and the fatty liver. If you find this very helpful, why don't you spend a second, subscribe to my channel, put me on post notification, like and share this video. Let someone also benefit from what you have seen. We'll meet in the next video.